I guess I gotta hit continue. Wow.
Hey, you're good to go.
It's almost time to start, isn't it?
Yeah, we're good to start.
Is Gary not going to be here again today?
I did not hear from him. I don't know if anybody else did.
So I need to chair again. As I was
Yeah.
telling Mike earlier, this is the time when I would miss having teenage children around to figure out all this technology. Well, in the absence of Chair Gary Peterson, I will assert some sort of constitutional authority. I can just feel the power.
It's an executive order.
Well, I, as a Roman historian, I don't have my lictors. I would normally have 12 lictors present, carrying the fasces, the axe and rod symbol of power, or it's just assert myself as a dictator, which was a 6-month term, but you could be reelected to that post in case of a wartime crisis. So I'll shut up and go back to chairing and not talking about history. In any event, let me call together this meeting of the College Place Historic Preservation Committee, and let me call the roll, and I'll just do it in order of what I see here on screen. Edward Kuntz, Stanley Green. Stan, are you hearing us? Are you hearing me? Stan? Well, he's there. Mike Denny.
Here.
Oh, and Terry Gottschall present. Gary Peterson absent. Oh, there's the list right there in front of me. I'm sorry. So let me call for approvements of the agenda. Are there any comments on the agenda before I call for a vote to approve? If there are no comments, then I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to accept
Hello.
the consent agenda.
Thank
Hello,
you, Mike.
John.
Is there a second?
Again,
All in favor, say aye.
Okay, I'll try that.
Aye.
Okay,
Pause for a moment if we could and get Stan. Are you on, Stan? Are you hearing? I think it sounds like Stan is still having difficulty. Then let me also call for the improvement of the minutes from the last meeting, May 20. Are there any comments or suggestions or corrections for the minutes before I call for a vote? And
Stanley is going to try to, he just logged out and he's going to log back in.
okay, I'll just pause for a moment to let Stan do that.
And you can, the purpose of the consent agenda is to do both the agenda and the minutes in one motion.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
And you
we've
guys have
already
a
then,
quorum, so you don't need to wait.
okay, well, then that's
Unless
already
Stanley,
been,
unless Stanley had something that he wanted to share with the minutes. I don't know. I wasn't, usually he informs us if there's a problem with the minutes, so.
Stan, you are muted. Are you able to hear? We're not hearing you, Stan. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Now.
finally I can hear you. I had to relaunch Zoom.
great.
Okay, good. Welcome back. Any corrections to the minutes? Dan, you're always good at finding spelling errors and such like. Oh,
You're
we've lost
muted.
you. No, we've lost him again, it looks like.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
now we can.
Okay. No, I found no errors in the minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Then in that case, we could move on. We've approved the agenda and the minutes. Are there any public comments? If not, we can move on to the agenda, which is the 75th anniversary book. John or Mike, do you have any updates for that?
I do. I will have it all printed off tomorrow, and I will be dropping that off and sending a virtual deal in of all the chapters. I have some photos that need to be sent because they need to scan them in Idaho. And so those will be scanned. They're already labeled. So those will come with the manuscript tomorrow. So
And Mike, so you have in the Word document, you've indicated where all the photos go.
I do.
And they match
Yep.
the file names of the digital versions
Yep.
and all that?
yep,
Great.
yep. So those will all be sent off. I talked to Chris Bessler, who is the owner and chief of the Keoki Press. I've known him for quite a while. And Chris is excited to get going on the book, and they will edit it. So we don't need to fine tooth edit it. They will do that, and then they will send back what they have put together, and it will be up for our review, this commission's review at that time. And then they will have what they call a draft copy of a book, which will be sent with the photos that are scanned in it. So you can see how the photos fit in with the manuscript. So anyway, there's been some additional adjustments, but I have taken care of those issues. So we will proceed and get this thing done. So anyway,
Yeah, so attached is chapter 8, which had some major revisions to it based on comments from Mr. Gottschall and Mr. Green, and also Mike Rizzatello and Mayor Norma Hernandez provided some feedback as well. So does anybody have any, I hope you all had a chance to read the revisions and to chapter 8. Any further feedback before we ship this off to Keoki?
Is there an opportunity at some point to make some additional corrections? And if so, I have a couple of historical quibbles, some of the very minor quibbles about some of the dates in that chapter. Is there a chance to correct those or comment on those hereafter, or should I do it real quick?
send them to me, Terry.
Okay, I apologize. It's my historical obsession.
That's all right. I won't.
And it has to do with the Vietnam War. And I think one more point that perhaps Stan would agree with me on, and that is, I think that you perhaps failed to emphasize another important event in the 1960s and that was the arrival of Stan and me in college here. So perhaps a footnote or some such would be to acknowledge our arrival in 1969.
And my arrival in 1970.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Well, they got
and I-
the moon in 69, so wasn't that good enough?
Pardon me?
They said people went to the moon in 69, so isn't that good enough thing? No,
Yeah.
I
I
got married.
apologize.
that
Oh,
year.
there's Gary. There's Gary.
Oh, he popped up. I'm not seeing him. Okay.
Yeah, he's there. You just need to expand your.
All right. So a couple of other interesting things that I have discovered I was given a packet of photographs. I mentioned it to Terry already from Gary Peterson. And they are largely photographs from the old Collegian from the early 50s to probably 1956, 57. And it shows a lot of the structures in College Place, and it has lots of great pictures of Columbia Auditorium. And it has pictures of the powerhouse in full operation, belching black coal smoke. And it is, anyway, there are several photos. And so there were probably, I took 22, 23 photos down to Walt Meskey to have him identify the individuals in the photos. And he spent an afternoon doing that. So then I sat down with him and we went over each photo. And there were several people which came forward as he went through those photos. That were one gentleman, he held up his photo and he said that his name's Dr. Deutsch. And he said Dr. Deutsch was the most loved and honored faculty member in the 50s at Walla Walla College. And he was extremely involved in the community. And when I heard that, it reminded me of several other individuals in early College Place, like Mr. Nichols, who was extremely involved in the college, but also extremely involved in the community, and was in fact one of the first city councilmen in College Place. So this gentleman that Walt Meskey, he described him to me, and he is very much like Walt Meskey, same type of individual. So I would like to let you know who I am seriously considering to, I guess, commemorate this book to. One is Blaylock, for handing the land over to the college to create College Place in the first place. It'll be four people. One is Carnahan, who was the very first postmaster who named the city of College Place. Number two is Deutsch, and number four is Meskey. Because I think those four people represent what it's taken to build College Place over the many years. And I just see it as important. And I would love to hear your comments if there's additional people that you would like to see this dedicated to.
Sounds like a good list.
I would suggest adding to the dedications Helen Cross, the first woman elected to the city council.
Okay.
I think she played a very significant role in the development of this community, not just as a city council person, but with numerous other contributions to the overall development of the community.
Okay, thank you. I agree. She was a very important individual in this community because he spoke up I will tell you, I personally witnessed it. He was in city council, and another person I strongly weighed was Fred Bennett. Because Fred was incredibly busy in this community and involved for many, many years.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's a limit, but I was thinking 4 to 6 people. So anyway. Anyone else have any comments? Hearing none. Well, that's all I have.
I just received some pictures from the fire department,
Oh,
and so Mike, maybe if you are available tomorrow, I'm here most of the day. I have a 10 o'clock at Lions Park,
okay.
and then I have an 11 o'clock phone call. But other than that, I'm here most of the day.
I'll be bringing everything probably by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Remember, we close at 4, so.
Right.
Okay. So you might I can give them to you, and you can.
Well, I'm coming to the Blue Zones walk this evening. Are you going to
Okay.
be there?
No, I will not. My son has his 8th grade graduation.
Wow. Okay.
8th grade
Congratulations.
already.
Yeah, I know.
No,
You know, I'm a little late coming to the conversation, but another person that might be interesting to dedicate it to is, how long was Shorty Rudolph, the fire chief here?
he was here as chief 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah. He was,
So if it'd been longer, or if he'd been a transitional thing or what, so.
yeah. He was instrumental in getting the first updated modern fire truck in College Place. So.
Okay, well, if there's no other comments about any of the content of the book, I think we should move on to reports. If I may so urge the chair to. Actually, Gary, you're now here, so you're the chair, so.
There, I think I'm back.
I happily defer to you, Gary.
Oh, well, no, you already started. Go ahead.
Well, then, John, go ahead with
Okay.
your reports.
All right, reports.
Oh, the
So
power, the
GPR,
power.
The ground penetrating radar, that was done last month, and I just I spoke with Bernie, or we exchanged emails yesterday or a couple days ago. He is in the process of analyzing that data. He expects to have the draft report available by July 9th, which will work out perfectly. And they'll get that. We'll be able to do our public meeting on the 15th, where he will present the data to us in July. So that's going to work out nicely with the timing of our requirements for the grant. So look forward to that. He hasn't fed me with any surprises yet or anything like that. No poltergeist scenarios or anything. So any questions about that process?
So do I understand correctly that he did survey the half of the railroad right-of-way that was in question?
Yes, he went ahead and included that in the GPR. They did the street, and yeah, so they've got anything that they could drive over with the equipment they did.
Great.
Great.
Yeah.
I went down and witnessed how this ground penetrating radar worked, and that was truly phenomenal to see what he could detect. So I learned some things.
I spent several minutes observing the process also.
Good. Yeah, it was neat to be down there and see it in progress, and it's exciting. DAP is extremely interested in it. They've been emailing me. Have you got the draft report yet? Your contract said you were supposed to have it by June 15th. And I was like, nope, we don't got it yet. We got started a little late. And they're like, oh, well, that's fine. Just let us know. We're interested. So someone from DAP is likely to actually attend our meeting to watch the presentation. So it's kind of exciting to have the State Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation interested in your project.
Yeah.
So, so the other one is just an update on the grant that we're currently applying for. This place has history, the signage project, and doing a little bit more research and expanding the story maps and creating that walking tour with signage and QR codes and stuff. They seemed interested in it, so we'll see how competitive it is this time around. And you know, we are proposing I think it was 40 signs, so and expanding, doing a little bit more research. The cemetery would be included in that. So it's I think I tried to paint the picture that this will help create awareness of the fact that we do have historic structures in town. And I mentioned our struggle with getting members that own these historic structures to actually register their properties. So so we'll see how it goes. We'll find out. I think this late summer, fall is when they will make their announcement. So
This is Stanley Green. As some of you know, Mike, Denny, and I serve on the Built Environment Committee of the Blue Zones Project, representing the city of College Place. I also in that function represent Walla Walla 2020. And one of the goals of the Blue Zones Project regarding and how a physical environment can contribute to community health and therefore the physical and mental health of individuals has to do with placemaking, that is, developing a sense of place, which is part of developing a sense of community. And the city certainly has a number of activities, including some of the community activities geared towards that. But I pointed out in the Blue Zones Project that this project of historic signs integrates well with those goals. So I'm raising that concept within the Blue Zones Project as well.
great. Thank you, Stanley.
So this is Mike. Blue Zones is having their walk through College Place, an analysis of a marked route for College Place to walk. And that's this evening at 5:30 in front of City Hall. But I'm going to be going on that. So it's somewhere that we should consider some of these signs going up as a route for citizens to walk and get exercise and stress relief.
Oh, since this isn't really related to what you guys are doing, but I think it's pretty significant. We were recipients. I applied for a Sherwood Trust grant, one of their core grants, and for the Lions Park project.
All right.
We received a $500,000 grant. From them.
Ooh,
Outstanding.
Yeah.
congratulations.
That's huge. They were
Wow.
it was the second time we've applied through their program. And they love the enthusiasm in the project and definitely showed support for it.
Boy,
We have a lot to be grateful for the Sherwood Trust.
Wow.
to fund that. That's a significant, that's like half of their core grants.
Outs-
What all will that entail, John?
Well, so primarily it's, we're putting in a splash pad. We are putting in, we're adding on to the playground, which the additional parts will be an inclusive playground. We worked with the Disability Network of Walla Walla to find out what their needs are. Because one of the reasons why we qualified for grants and got grants from the State Recreation Conservation Office was that we have a higher population of children with special needs than the state average in our city. So that we scored well in that category. And so the playground's going to be ADA accessible, rubberized surface, and inclusive. So the children, anybody in a wheelchair will be able to actually drive onto the play equipment. So, so that's pretty cool. Mike mentioned the, walking and stuff. We're going to have a 1/4 mile pathway around the perimeter of the park. It'll have weight resistant exercise equipment around it. It's going to have lighting like what's on College Avenue, our decorative street lights. The pond is going to be dredged and separated from the creek, and there'll be a fishing dock that's ADA compliant. New restrooms. We're going to renovate the existing restrooms as well. We're making enhancements to make sure that we have power and stuff for our farmers market, because that's where the farmers market is. And we're going to try to incorporate into that design some sort of pavilion style stage like what Walla Walla has for their farmers market for the music events. So yeah, it's a really exciting project. We've got a little over $2 million from grants from the state, and then the $500,000 from Sherwood Trust. The project's about it's probably by the time everything's all said and done, it'll be $3.5 million. So we've set aside another $600,000 from our real estate excise tax, that REIT 2 tax that we get from every sale of real estate, and it changes hands. We've been setting aside $200,000 every year for the last 3 years, and then so next year we'll have another $200,000. The plan is we've got Anderson Perry under contract. We're going to do the design this summer and fall, and then we will hopefully be able to construct in 2022.
So are you getting rid of that dam deal right
Weir?
by the pool? Yeah,
Yes, that will be removed.
outstanding.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's a serious block.
Yep.
Yeah, wonderful.
Stan, Gary, you had a question?
He just waved at us. Maybe he was signifying he was leaving.
Oh, maybe. I think he's gone.
I believe he left the meeting.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well,
Elvis
yeah,
has left the building.
this is an exciting project, and the community's really behind it, and it's cool, I think.
Well,
That's great news, John. Congratulations.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for doing that proposal. That's outstanding.
Yes,
Really good.
congratulations. That'll be a really positive contribution to the community. When my offspring were younger, there weren't opportunities like that for some of their friends who could have used some of those types of facilities.
Yeah.
I remember the Queen Cat at Lions Park used to have -3 pit run under it. That was incentive to stay on the swing.
Yeah, yeah. That can be painful.
Yeah,
That was a good place.
yep. Outstanding.
Well, that's all I have on reports. So our next meeting is July 15th. And like I said, that will be the meeting that we plan to present the results of the GPR. So
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
you're
Yeah,
available.
that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
I hear a second. In that case, we are adjourned. Thank you all. See you in July.
All righty.
Thank
Have
you.
a happy Juneteenth and a happy 4th of July.
Yeah,
you.
happy Juneteenth. Stay cool.
Yeah.
Happy solstice too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.